What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's me, your favorite host, Let's Play Dark Souls HD, and we are back in Dark Souls 2. As you can see, I'm taking a little bit of cover right now because we've got a lot of projectile enemies ahead of us. I believe I showed them in the last video. There's Seth right there. He was pretty excited to help for the Undead Crypt, and we didn't exactly go about dealing with them the best way, because what we did was we ran forward like this, and I don't recommend doing that because they have four very frustrating offensive attacks. One being that pursuers that you saw, it looks like it. The other being a lightning spear that you just saw right there. They can poison you with a poison cloud that's very hard to see, and they can also do a miniature firestorm, which absolutely sucks. Each one of their attacks is quite devastating, aside from the little mini pursuers attack that they do. I believe I got the staff right there. If you can't tell, I'm doing post commentary. It's a little boring. I don't want to do retrospect, but sometimes I'm not quite satisfied with live commentary and I decide to redo it this way. So I ended up equipping the staff just so you guys could see what it looks like. It just looks like two sticks that are twisted together. It's not very impressive, but it had three or four different scalings. I can't remember. If you can't tell, I have a new kick-ass mask to go with the Llewellyn armor. It's the Mad Warrior mask. I ended up going and getting his full armor set at the Bell Tower. I joined the Bell Covenant and I started farming for some chunks, and then I saw him and he just kept coming back, so eventually I just farmed him for about 3 hours straight until I got his full armor set. It's a little heavier than what I want to use, but it's pretty cool. This is his sword, the Berserker Blade. It's really awesome. I have it upgraded to +2. It's quite powerful. So my secret weapon is actually this, Dual Murakumos. This is an absolutely devastating combo. I tested it out myself in PvP, and it's ridiculous. It is incredibly powerful. So, the only reason I even fought him in the first place is because I liked the way his mask looked, and I figured, well, shit, if I kill him enough times, maybe he'll drop it, and before I knew it, a couple hours went by and I had his whole armor set.
Human.
So,
Do not produce light.
Yeah, you guys recognize that voice.
And all those who bear it are unwelcome in this place.
Yeah, it cost me 155,000 souls to make him not pissed at me anymore, so let's go ahead and make things right. I'm sorry, Agdane. Please don't be mad at me anymore. I won't light torches in your face. I don't remember
we weave
if he turns into a merchant yet. We're gonna find out.
This task was granted to me by the one who gave us the first death. Countless souls rest here, some of them from ages long ago. Some were rich, others poor, some wise, some dull, but now they're all just dead.
Okay, so he's kind of depressing, but he actually gives cool dialogue, believe it or not. Some of it is very lore related.
Did you cover him? The one called Vendrick. You will find him deeper inside. Many castle servants and the like have come to fetch their lord. But they rest here now, put to death by the king's own guards. Perhaps he's not in the mood for company.
Okay, so I ended up exhausting his dialogue just because.
In the past, humans were one with the dark. The former King of Light, he feared humans. Feared that they would usher in an age of dark. How queer you humans. How you go on, never separating truth from fiction.
Yeah, he totally called me a queer. I wasn't very happy about that. But if I remember correctly, exhausting his dialogue gives you a gesture, and he becomes a merchant, I think. But other than that, he's just kind of chills there, and I believe you summon him for the boss as well. He's not ever going to move from this spot either, so you don't have to worry about that. And I wanted to attack him, but it cost me so much to fix it.
Provided due reverence is shown. Death is equitable, accepting. We will all one day be welcomed by her embrace. Tell me what you desire. Show me reverence, and I will lend you my hand.
Okay, there we go. We got that. And he sells the Shield of the Insolent, which is not very good. I mean, you can see it right now. It is obviously not a very impressive shield. And he also sells the Armor of the Insolent, which none of that's very great either. He sells Ring of Thorns +1, Infinite Dark Arrows and Dark Bolts, and he also sells 13 Human Effigies, which I bought as many of those as I possibly could because they are not exactly easy to come by anymore. He sells the mushrooms, and he also sells some sorceries. I went back to go take a closer look at those because I figured you guys might want to see them. Soul Spear, the one that you get from the Scorpioness Najka, whatever her name was, the Man Scorpion Tark's wife, that sorcery that she produces. And he sells that pyromancy that heals you over time called Warmth, and I went back and bought that from him as well because it's going to come quite in handy for us. So now we've seen these guys enough already. They're nothing special. You can knock them right off the stairs like that. It's just when they summon, like, I don't know what they're doing when they do that, if it's lightning or what. Some people claim that it's like magic weapon or great magic weapon or something. I have no idea what it is. All I know is that these guys are total pushovers. So there were two different ways to go here. You could drop down here, or you could run off this way towards the fog gate, and that fog gate does not lead to the boss or anything, so it just leads to the next area. And then there's a place you can drop down over here as well. But you can lower a bridge right here, I believe, is the reason for this gap. Or raise a bridge, rather, as it would look. So I decided, after seeing that item in the corner right there, I decided I was going to go down here. And what better time to show off the kitty feet? Now that is mad thuggin' right there. And we've got these pushover dudes down here, they're nothing. And yes, if any of you are wondering, there is a reason that every time I summon Seth, he's using the Hadenite sword, and quite frankly, it's just his favorite weapon. So, when you come up here, there is a chest. It's not a mimic or anything. But there were some good things down here. There was a ton of soul items. Like, I mean, I literally got so many damn soul items down here, it was insane. So, I mean, even if you don't beat the boss, as long as you clear the level, you're gonna walk out so rich, you're not even gonna know what to do with all your souls. So we got that, the Crushed Eye Orb. I believe that is going to be very similar to the Black Eye Orb in Dark Souls, where you can invade another player. That's essentially what the description leads me to believe, anyway. I'm sure we're gonna be able to invade an NPC or something later down the road, like a criminal or something. So I didn't want to fall down here, but I did on accident. So I didn't go through this fog gate because I wasn't aware that it wasn't the boss fog gate. So I ended up, like, walking over here. I didn't mean to fall off like that, but I'm kind of glad I did because it ended up leading us to the mechanism that lights the place. So I was kind of hesitant to get my torch out for this part because obviously Agdane gets completely pissed off when you light your torch. But Seth was with me the whole time, and he was completely reassuring me that there was nothing wrong with lighting a torch unless you were near him. So and this is really cool. If you look off into the distance now, you can see the whole place getting lit up. That's really cool. The only thing that kind of disappointed me about this place was that it was incredibly short. That was the only thing I didn't like about it. It was a very short level. And some of these chests, I don't think there was a single chest down here that had anything useless in it. That was the best part about this place. Every single chest and every single corpse with an item on it, everything was useful. I liked that. I think there's a chest or an item up here. Yeah, nah, I hate that. The ladder was so close to the item, it prompted the wrong mechanic. Yeah, we're getting good stuff left and right. Now down here, there's only 2 bonfires in this place, and this is the second one, so if you want to get to the end of the level, which there is a good reason to get to the end of the level here, if you watch till the end you'll see. Getting to the end of the level is kind of a pain to run through all these enemies, but we just saw a new enemy right there. It's like a hooded sorcerer that comes out of those weird fancy tombstones, and I decided to break out a different weapon for this, I think. Maybe. Or no, I'm looking at Blue Flame. That's the sword that they just dropped. The cool thing about the Blue Flame is that you can use it as a catalyst. If you use the strong attack for it, it will cast whatever sorcery you have equipped. That is freaking awesome. I was so happy to see that there's a sword that does that in this game, because it reeks of Calamity. So you guys might be able to see Calamity using that whenever I decide to redo the Calamity 2.0 build, which that is coming. When I start the expert walkthrough for Dark Souls 2, it will be the Calamity 2.0 build, and I'm not going to start it until I know exactly how I want him to be. So it might take a little bit, but I'm not going to completely stop uploading before that. I'll be pumping out videos here and there, just not quite as often. And the only point of going through that fall gate was because that was the one we saw before that I didn't want to go through, so I just wanted to get rid of it. Just because. Now I believe, after some observations of the enemies in this level, I believe, and there's one of those tombstones where the blue guys come out, and the only way to stop them from spawning is to break those things. But after observing the enemies a little bit in this place, I noticed that there's always an undead that rings a bell, and when he rings that bell, it summons more of them. They come crawling out of the ground, like constantly. So look at that. We got more awesome stuff. See, these guys that keep coming out of nowhere, yeah, it's because one of them is ringing the bell somewhere, and there's a bell in like each room, I think. So yeah, you definitely want to get rid of those guys, and you definitely don't want to ring the bell. Now these guys, even though they die really quick, like as you see, they die in about 3 hits, they hit pretty hard, and that was a good ring we just picked up. It'll stop durability from our weapons. It'll stop the decreasing of durability on our weapons a little bit more, since it is the +2 version, I believe that was. But yeah, those guys can chain combos together fairly rapidly, because I know they did like a 3-hit combo on me that was kind of devastating. This nameless usurper, this is the same one that invaded us in Drangelic Castle, and she is a total punk. You guys already know who it is. It's Lycia, the girl that wants you to pay her 2,000 souls to move the mechanism in, like right over at Majula, the mechanism that'll take you to Huntsman's Copse, or over to, what's it called? Hades Tower of Flame. Now these wall guys, I had no idea that they were there until I already opened the chest, so it kind of freaked me out, and that's why I ran away. But I saw that we can basically just one-shot them. Like, check this out. Boom. Yeah, those guys are pansies. We got Avalon. I was so happy to pick this weapon up, because not only does it look 1,000 times cooler in this game, it's more viable. It's like, I mean, it's way more powerful in this game. It wasn't very strong in Dark Souls unless you were like a Berg bully or just a twinker, but in this game, it's very applicable to any soul level. So it's actually really good, and I actually started using it. And there's like one wall guy in here, I think, like a wall ghost, but these, yeah, your eyes don't deceive you. That is 2 enemies with 2 shields, 1 in each arm. So that's 4 shields in front of us. Now, I tried using the Flame Swath because I was trying to get it to go behind them. It didn't really. I tried again. Didn't work very well. So I decided to use Chaos Storm, because Chaos Storm devours everything. I did get smacked, but it did the job. Annihilated both of them in one use, and we ended up getting the shield. Well, half of whatever shield they're using. And Seth ended up disconnecting here because his duty was fulfilled. His time limit for the summon ran out. I ended up grabbing him again, don't worry, because the only reason he wanted to help me is because he wanted to get souls for the boss. And I agreed to let him help me, even though I kind of wanted to solo this place because everybody chopped this place up to be super hard, and I honestly just don't think that was the case. And as you can see, they drop blue flame like candy. It's kind of ridiculous. They can cast pyromancies, they can cast like a barrage of soul spears, which is kind of crazy. Does a lot of damage. But I did have a tad bit of trouble in this room because I had no idea that there were going to be so many enemies down here. I probably should have waited for him to drop his sign again, but yeah, as you can see, I'm having a little trouble. They didn't end up killing me, but it was definitely kind of a tight situation. You can run out here because they do leash back there in that room. They won't even follow you down the hallway, except for these guys. But the hooded sorcerer guys, they don't even follow you into the hallway. So I wanted to use Avalon here, and it actually does surprisingly well. I've been picking up a lot of bolts from different corpses and stuff throughout the playthrough. I haven't used any of them because I prefer to use a bow the whole time. But yeah, I just wanted to mess around with Avalon for a bit. I've got magic bolts and I've got the heavy bolts, and there was actually a surprising amount of effectiveness coming from Avalon. It actually hits pretty hard. Now these guys, even with their shields up, they can't take very many shots from it, so let's see, you can pick these guys apart in like 3 bursts, I think it is. Yeah, basically about 3 bursts. They are kind of fast though. So yeah, there was definitely a lot of good loot down in this place. But aside from just being a trouble in numbers, that right there kind of surprised me. They don't look like they have any poise, but apparently their dashing and sweep attack has some kind of hyper armor, because you guys saw that I shot him right in the face before he even moved, and he went right through my bolts and continued his attack. That kind of threw me off. But yeah, you can see these guys keep coming out of the ground because there's a bell somewhere in here being rung. I think, yeah, that's it right there, the thing that is right on my backside. That is the bell, I believe, that keeps getting rung. And yeah, if you can't destroy those things fast enough, you're going to have to deal with another one of those hooded sorcerers coming out. And like I said, I mean, you guys can see they're not really that tough. They just cast really powerful sorceries that can take a lot of your health off. That and their standard 3-hit combo that they do, when they chain that together, it can hurt pretty bad as well. But they have like no health. So if you can be the offensive one and just power through them like that, they die pretty quick. Now, that was the combo right there. As you can see, it easily did about, what is that, maybe 65 or 70% of my HP. That was pretty effective. So I ended up using a powder on my Murakumo because I don't want to switch weapons just yet. And it didn't heal it all the way either. As you can see, it's about half right now. That's kind of a rip-off. And I didn't know you could backstab them either. That was really satisfying considering they've been just picking on me the whole time. It took me forever to realize that that room behind me over there was the room that the sorcerers keep coming out of. But I eventually found it. It just took me a little bit. Yeah, if you can be the one who attacks first, they literally have no chance against you. But it's just those compiled with these guys that keep coming out of the ground. It's bad news. And I kept burning through my flasks too, which was kind of bad. But this is the hallway that has one of those stones at the back of it. And if you can If you can go back there and destroy it, you don't have to worry about the hooded sorcerers that keep spawning. Yeah, they're really weak. They just hit hard. And I ended up going over to my life gems because I don't want to burn through all my flasks just yet. I wanted to save at least a couple for the boss. Now that sucked. I don't know why my direction changed when I used that attack. It was kind of annoying though. Cost me another life gem. Ugh. That sucked too. That was point blank pyromancy. I got kind of lucky right there. So I decided to switch over to Avalon and give this a shot. Yeah. I don't have any poise with this armor really, so dealing with these guys was just a little bit annoying in tight quarters. If you can see. So there goes another life gem, and I'm officially down to flasks, but that's not necessarily a bad thing because the enemy, or the boss of the level, is just a little bit ahead of us. So I think yeah, there's like a lever right here. There's Seth's sign. I ended up grabbing him real quick. And then when you pull the lever, you end up lowering a bridge, I believe. And I didn't want to summon anybody else for this boss fight because, quite frankly, a lot of the bosses in this game have been slightly disappointing. But I think the only one that gave us any trouble really was the smelter, I think. Reflecting on this playthrough a little bit, I think, yeah, roughly the only boss that gave us any kind of trouble whatsoever in difficulty was the smelter. And the only thing tough about that fight was keeping Lucatil alive. But, other than that, yeah. I can't wait to solo him on my next playthrough. It's gonna be really fun. I have my own creative method that I came up with for soloing the Smelter Demon. I think you guys will be eager to see it. Yeah, there's a couple signs sitting around here, but I ended up going with, yep. Love that Mastodon Greatsword. That thing is awesome. It is one of my favorite weapons. I plus 10'd it, so it is incredibly powerful. Now back here, there's a subscriber that's been watching a lot of my videos lately, and his name is the Timinator. And Tim was the one that told me in the comments on my last video. He said to drop down behind the stairs like I just did and take out that guy that rang the bell. And well, to be honest, this was already recorded before I started checking those comments anyway, so I guess that was just instinct that told me to drop down there first instead of running ahead, because there was an obvious room beneath the stairs. And I guess I didn't think anything of it. I just saw a guy in there. I didn't know about the bells or what they did yet. And I just thought killing him was killing him, because I didn't want him to run forward and give us trouble while fighting these guys. But apparently that is not his purpose. Apparently he rings those bells, or the bell that's back there behind the stairs, and it summons like 50 ghosts or something like that all come and give you a bunch of trouble. So it's a good thing I killed him. Yeah, me and Seth were just destroying these guys. They're absolutely nothing, even in numbers. And it's incredibly easy to backstab them either, because the hitbox on their backside is pretty big. And they leave themselves open. So it's like, I don't even think I would have had trouble in this place if I was by myself, to be honest. And then you don't want to miss this summon sign over here, because it is Agdane. Now, I'm not sure if you lose out on anything if he dies, because he did end up dying in the boss fight. I was unable to keep him alive, but I don't know if I missed out on anything or not, because even after he didn't survive the boss fight, he still gave me his equipment at the end of the video. So I don't know if there was something more he would give if he had survived or not, but it's too late now. Now, Seth is very fond of lightning, particularly projectile lightning. He uses the lightning urns, he uses a lot of lightning spears. He's a faith character. He's always been a faith character. Now, the thing that struck me about that cutscene is that he looks fairly sane. He looks really human. Doesn't look like he's hollowed at all. It does not look like the curse has affected him one bit. So, all of us doing lightning damage, I'm not sure if he's weak to lightning. I've never seen his armor, but... well, I've seen his armor, because Seth is wearing it, but I haven't read the stats on his armor, so I don't know what he's weak to. I just picked a random pine resin, and I thought he was going to do an area of effect attack, but apparently he was powering up or something. He was like increasing his defense and his attack, so... And you can tell there's a notable difference. Not only did his attack do more damage right there than it did the first time he hit me, or maybe that was the first time, I don't remember, but he's also taking less damage. So, after fighting him, I was disappointed I couldn't keep Agdane alive, because he really wasn't that tough. But aside from that, he's not very hard of a boss. I mean, he hits really hard, and his moves have a very wide range, but other than that, he wasn't that tough. So, I guess it's safe to say that in the expert walkthrough, I am going to be soloing every single boss. I won't be summoning anyone for multiplayer, aside from NPC phantoms. Like, I will be trying to do Lucatiel's story and Benhart's as well, so the only people I'm going to summon are NPCs. So, this is the person that everybody was telling me about. Everybody was saying, oh, when you beat the boss in the Undead Crypt, you're going to notice a familiar face. I'm not gonna lie, the first time I walked in here, the first thing I said was, who the hell is that? And then I picked up the King's Ring, and it clicked for me. I was like, oh, it's Vendrick. Okay. So, yeah, this is old, hollowed, cursed Vendrick, just walking around down here dragging his sword. You can lock on to him, but he is not aggroed. I suppose he's similar to an NPC. And this is the Emerald Herald.
This ring is the symbol of the king. Use it to gain passage through the king's gate and venture to the far east. Bearer of the curse, if you are to be the next monarch, then one day you will walk those grounds without really knowing why.
Alright, and that is the only dialogue she gives you, because if you keep trying to talk to her again, all you get is ... So, yeah, she shows up in weird places and gives you random dialogues and all this nonsense. I ended up running back because Seth had this idea. He said, why don't you try to summon me as a shade instead of a phantom, so that we can try to fight Vendrick together? And I said, no, I highly doubt we can do that. There's probably going to be a fog gate right where Velstad's room is, and it's not going to work. But, I mean, we ended up waiting around for me to find his sign anyway, because he wanted to try it out. And, like I said, it didn't work. But, I mean, I suppose it was worth a try, and he wanted to try it anyway. I think you have to solo Vendrick. I don't think it wants you to have any assistance with that. Now, from what people have told me, I mean, I'm not a fan of spoilers or anything. I've tried as hard as I can to, like, prevent people from posting them, but I'm not in control of what you guys say on the videos, and a lot of people have spoiled it for me already and said, you know, you need 5 giant souls when you fight Vendrick because it decreases his defense enough to actually beat him. And you know what? I thought to myself, no, I don't even need those souls. I don't care if he seems impossible right now. I'm gonna beat him like this without the soul items, or I'm gonna try anyway. I didn't do it in this video. I mean, I did make a pretty valiant effort to aggro him in this video, but it took forever and I was unable to do it. I literally couldn't aggro him no matter how hard I tried. Like, I hit him with my sword, I hit him with all my pyromancies, like every single one of them. I hit him with all my throwing knives, I hit him with all my bolts using Avalon. I couldn't aggro him. It was impossible. So, maybe there's some kind of trick to aggroing him or something, but I mean, I'm gonna try and kill him without those soul items first. And then, once I see whether or not it's completely impossible, I will probably go grab them and then fight him. But since he's a zombie that's dragging his sword around, I highly doubt he's going to be an insanely tough boss. So, this is living proof that I already knew what was going to happen. I knew it wasn't going to let me help him fight Vendrick, so it was worth a try. And this is where I go down and try to aggro him with all of my might. And I was just unable to do it. So get ready to see me pick on Vendrick for like 5 minutes, because nothing I did worked. I tried I tried poisoning him. I didn't have Toxic Mist equipped. I would have tried that if I had it. I hit him with all my firestorms. I smashed him at least 20 times with my sword, and none of it worked. None of my throwing knives worked. I hit him with corrosive urns, even though it's useless because the only armor he has is a crown. Yep, this is about it. I hit him with fire bombs. They didn't do anything either. Yep, meleeing him proved to be quite impossible. Like, I mean, he doesn't stop moving at all. And much like an NPC, you have to do a certain amount of damage to them before they aggro. So the fact that I hit him with a couple firestorms, I hit him with my sword about 20 times, I hit him with fire bombs, I hit him with all of my bolts using Avalon, I hit him with my poison throwing knives. I did a significant amount of damage to him, and I still couldn't aggro him, so that tells me that he obviously has some wicked insane health, and I want to fight him. I really do. After seeing that everything I had was not enough to aggro him, I really am eager to fight him now because he must have ridiculous health. Could be the boss that we're all waiting for. Yep, I'm just pelting him with bolts right now. I shot him until I ran out, and it just didn't work. Couldn't even get him to blink at me. You guys should have heard the original audio. I was like just shit-talking him the whole time, saying, "Some king you are, man. Look at you, you big wimpy kitty baby whiner." And I suppose it was all psychological. I felt like saying all that stuff to him just might aggro him, because being an asshole worked on Agdane. I figured, well, hell, it might work on him, knowing this game. I was trying to zoom in on him because while I was shit-talking him, I was like, let me see under that loincloth, man. You compensating with that big sword? Mr. Little Weenie? Yeah, I was being a total jerk to him. And I even came back for a couple more swings because I really wanted to aggro him. I wanted to fight him so bad. You guys have no idea how bad I wanted to fight him. Like, I was trying everything. And as you can see, it just doesn't work. Which means his health must be absolutely hulking. Am I ready to give up? Yep, okay. I'm giving up. Good. Because it's starting to get old. So, I think the only thing I did to waste more time was I ran back to the Emerald Herald just to see if she would say anything else, and she ended up not saying anything else. All I got from her was ... And I'm about to make a seriously illegal U-turn in just a minute. Almost. Almost. And illegal U-turn. So I could cut these parts out of the video of me just doing this, but doing post-commentary, I don't notice how much time I waste until I actually do the commentary, so I'm pressed for time as it is. I actually need to get myself into bed and ready for work tomorrow with enough sleep so that I can do my job proficiently without risking any serious danger. So yes, if I had time to do a more thorough and professional recording of this, I would have, but unfortunately I am pressed for time. So, the Homeward Bone, it's definitely one of my favorite items in the game, hands down, because what would you do without it? Waste more time, that's what. So the only thing we need to do for the rest of this video is we need to go exhaust Agdane's dialogue. I don't know what's with that ladder behind me. Oh yeah, that's the ladder that we used to get to the bonfire. It's broken. So, yeah, it took me until I ran out into this room to realize that that was the wrong damn bonfire, but, you know, it's me, LPDarkSoulsHD. It wouldn't be an LPDarkSoulsHD playthrough if there weren't constant mistakes and pointless rambling, so I'm just sticking with the trademark, as far as I'm concerned. The Lucerne. I love that weapon so much. I haven't had a chance to play with it in this game. I'm sure it has a really sick moveset that's probably really fun, very viable, but we're gonna have to get it first. So, being right back at the beginning, of course we're gonna have to deal with all those jerks again, but instead of dealing with them, I decided that I was just gonna run forward. After killing this guy. What's that? Oh, thank you. We've got these guys, of course. Yeah, I really didn't feel like dealing with these people. I just wanted to run past them. So if you time it correctly, you can just zoom through. Okay, that was a pro dodge right there. You have to give me credit for that one. And now that we're over here, of course he tells us not to produce light every time because he's big bad Agdane who couldn't even survive against the boss. So he doesn't sell anything new, but I did want to do that though. I wanted to buy warmth so we can play around with that next time.
You have met the king, have you? Life is never easy, never fair. Even more so on this path you've chosen. May you find your peace one day. Take these with you. You may need them as proof of your visit here.
And he gives you his equipment. So, other than that, I mean, I don't want anything else he has.
Go.
And he doesn't have anything new to say. So, I wanted to equip his stuff just to see what it looks like. His sword is really cool. It's a katana that has a near invisible blade. It looks cool. It's actually got really good reach. And it still has the thrust, which is really good. And he doesn't have a helmet. He only has the other 3 pieces of armor. And his armor, it's nice and light. But I don't know. If I ever feel like being Hercules gone goth, I might wear it. But until then, I think I'm good. Yeah, a little too Greek for me. So I'm gonna stick with my awesome Llewellyn armor. And I do like his sword, it's really cool. I'm sure we can put it to some decent use later. Ow. And again, I'm just gonna fly through here because I don't feel like dealing with all these guys. They're just an inconvenience as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, that was the Undead Crypt. And there's not much else to it. I might go back and kill Agdane since he has no use anymore. Probably. I doubt it. He might. You guys know how I do my playthroughs. Obviously, I'm going to go kill everybody before I finish the playthrough and start New Game Plus. That is what I do every time. I've done it every single time so far. So, you can look forward to that. His death is going to be at my hands in the end. Just not yet. And I'll probably use his own weapon when I do it. So, I do believe it is time to go cut it here. This one was just a tad bit shorter than the others, but like I said, I was pressed for time anyway, so the next ones will be regular lengths. So, that is all the time that I have for today, ladies and gentlemen. I have been your faithful host, Let's Play Dark Souls HD. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see all of you in the next video. See ya.